Okay folks, good afternoon. What I've got today is a review of one of my students' games by one of my students, Ben. He sent me the link the other day. He played this a few days ago on PandaNet and sent me a note asking me if I could do a quick review, particularly the end of the game where White, his opponent, invades behind the wall. Black is Ben in this case was played black and had a 4-stone handicap. I think his opponent was rated at 14Q and Ben is somewhere around 17-18Q at the moment. I looked at the game and I've been through this a couple of times, and the themes that emerged for me is I think the end theme about invading behind into your opponent's territory or deep inside your opponent's territory, trying to live locally, is worth talking about. But in the game as well, the two other things that emerged for me when I went through it the first time were about inefficient plays. I don't want to say slack plays, I don't want to be abusive, but slack plays, inefficient plays, plays where we make a stone that we then either have to immediately rescue or have to immediately support, and so in doing so give our opponent two moves in succession. And then there's something very important that appears in this game two or three times over about the direction of Atari. So I'm going to keep this fairly tight and just jump through the game. So this is the game. It's 4-stone handicap, and let's see what happens. So black set up on the board, white approaches top left. Black makes this move. I'm not going to criticise that move. It's fine. I would have expected maybe for black to jump out to d14, but I think that's fine where it is. White makes a base, absolutely expected, and then black maybe should be playing somewhere around d13. Black makes a Shamari in the top right side, and white makes a shape move. So white stones on the top centre now are pretty much alive. They've got a good base. Black has got points in the top right and in the top left. So black makes another play here. You could consider that maybe an overplay, but it's a good defensive move. The other alternative here would be somewhere around SR14, but then that would leave the corner a bit weaker. White approaches the corner, black blocks, all to be expected. White harness, black harness, white protects, and then black plays solidly. It's difficult to criticise the solid connection, but here what happens is if when black plays a solid connection, white plays here, black blocks, white fixes, and then black has got to fix, otherwise he'll lose the stones in the corner, which means white gets the sente to play elsewhere. If we go back and look at that again, if instead of that move black plays the tiger mouth, when white plays this, black plays here, white connects, and it's over, and black gets the sente. And that's a huge difference. So it's a huge difference in outcome. As you can see, black gets the sente move and actually starts to dominate the whole of the left hand side. So when we're playing these kind of moves, this is the move that was played in the game. This is just not as efficient. It's not as efficient as the move here at b17 because of the way sente comes out of that game. So that's one example, and that example comes back elsewhere in the game of not very efficient moves or a better move being available. So white approaches the lower right corner, black comes out. I'm not a fan of this move. I think take your opponent's base away like this, white will come down, black comes up, white will make a base, and black makes a base and takes a big corner. I think is a much better outcome. With this move here, the black stone's floating slightly, and if white were then to attach somewhere like here, the black stone would be floating on the left. But these are small points, and I don't want to keep moving through this review. So white makes a base again. This is good solid play by white. Approach the corner, get a response from your opponent, then make a base. And black makes a base, and this is actually okay. You can see how these stones are now working quite efficiently to create quite a big area on the lower right hand side of the board and down into the corner, and white extends the base along the side. So now we're looking at the game. Black's got some points in the top right and the top left, and then lower right, and a stone down there on the lower left. and it's black centre. So where should black think about playing here? Well, to my eye, the biggest point out on the board now is probably here. But let's see what happens in the game. So Ben defends the corner. This is an example of it's not exactly weak play, but what are we stopping here? If black were to play here and white to play here, black would block, and the exchange of points in the top right is small, but the exchange of points or potential on the left is huge. And so I think this is an example not of a wrong play, but just of too small a play for this stage in the game. And white blocks, so there's no harm done, no issue with this, and it's black's opportunity again to play anywhere on the board. And I'm still looking over there at this D10 spot. Where does black play? And black comes out. It's not wrong. It's black has now played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stones into that corner for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, maybe 20 points. I still prefer for black this here, because it's difficult for white to do anything in here. White's got to protect the cutting point. That's the kind of sequence we would expect. But that's what black played. So black played here, and then white comes in here, and white's come into the shape because it's almost equidistant. This gap here and this gap here are very similar, so white's got lots of space to make a base. If black approaches from the top, somewhere like here, then white can come here. And if the other happens, if black say comes out here, white can actually make a base here and put this under attack here, this kind of shape, or indeed just jump out. So I think black, by playing both this move and this move, gave white that opportunity to come into the left hand side of the board, which is what happened. So black came down here, so black's now invested 2, 4, 6, 7 stones, and white makes a wall. Black, I think, takes the base away, but I think again this stone is better placed here, because then if white attaches on top, black draws back, and black is then actually protecting the points on the edge and into the corner. This may seem subtle and small, but after this move, the move that Ben played in the game here is actually too high, because what white can do, and I expect it does, is attach under. So black harness, white descends, black descends. Now we get the first of the direction of Atari. What happened in the game is that the white stone has come through and has got 2 liberties. It's got a liberty at d5 and it's got a liberty at e6. And on black's move, black can Atari that stone. And there are 2 directions that black can Atari. Black can Atari from this direction, from direction 1, and push the stone downwards, or black can Atari from 2 and push the stone outwards. It's clear, but maybe not so clear, that actually the best direction for Atari in this case is this way. Because if white tries to protect or defend or extend, white attaches here, black here, white here, and white is now caught in a ladder like this that's going nowhere. So the direction of Atari that needed to be played here was pushing down towards the stone that's already on position on d4. In the game, Ben played Atari from this side, which meant that white was able just to come out, and now white's got 3 liberties, and this black stone is now looking in trouble because black chooses to defend the lower side quite correctly, and white simply turns and makes an eye. So here we can see, going back, there were 2 directions of Atari at this point. One led to the white stone being knocked out of play, and this would have meant that this white group then was struggling for eyes, and the alternative direction of Atari, which was played in the game, simply pushes your opponent out into an open area of the board where there are lots of liberties to find, and actually knocks out of play the black stone that was played on d7. there. But black has a sente, so black plays out and actually protects all the territory on the lower side. And so black's looking at a huge territory on the lower side. It's 19 lines by at least 3 deep, which is almost 60 points. And we've talked before about how we calculate the number of points you need to win in a game of Go. So what does white do? So white comes out. It's a reasonable move for white, but actually white is making no territory. And black now plays out in the centre here. Again, I'm not going to criticise that. I think it's fine for direction of play. I would have liked to have seen black do something either here to enlarge this territory, because the lower side is already secure, or maybe even come out somewhere like this to put pressure on the white group on the top, or and reduce the territorial potential there. But nonetheless, black came out in the centre, white turned, and black came out there. White honey, black extend, white push, black tiger mouth, white honey, black extend, white extend, black extend. This move here, we have to look at this end of black shape is protected by a tiger mouth. So actually, why not play black here? And if white plays here, black plays here and sets up this cutting point which will white protect. And again, now black has a sente, can play anywhere it likes on the board, and black's territory here is now slightly wider. So this move by black that black played in the game is just not quite efficient, because white then wedges into that shape, giving white a cutting point in Atari at E14. This point here, that black then fixes. So here's an example of black plays a stone, the stone here on E15, white plays a stone, and then black plays another stone here to fix the problem created by the first stone. So black has played 2 stones next to each other, when actually on this sequence here, white, black, and the sequence is over, and it's white that then needs to defend. Much more efficient play for black in this kind of sequence. Let's go back here. So black played here, white, and then black fixed. And then white protects. So it's black's sente. Black can play anywhere on the board, any point it chooses, and black's ahead on this board. So black protects the corner. Not going to knock that. I think the 3-3s are always vulnerable to an invasion. We all hate being invaded 3-3 under a 4-4. Black's ahead on the board, and so consolidating the existing points is fine. Notice how white has got some points on the right hand side here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18, maybe 20 points, and maybe 20 points on the top corner, and 5 here. So white's got 45 points, but black has got 70 on the lower side. It's black is ahead by 30 or 40 points right now. So white plays in the centre, looking to make a centre territory. And black plays this attachment move, which again I'm not sure is doing anything. I would like to see something like this, actually pushing out into that territory rather than attaching to some already strong stones. Remember, when we attach to our opponent's stones, we make them stronger. And so this black move, I'm not sure what it does. White jumps, and black plays another move in the same area, so that's 2 stones in that area. And white blocks, getting stronger against the black wall, and black comes out again, so that's 3 stones now. And actually, if we go back and look, these are the 3 points that black's 3 stones eventually enclose, and how much better this might have been if black had played something like this initially, and white comes up, and then something like this. So actually eating into white's territory, and in this case putting this stone under threat. And if white does something to protect this stone, then black pushes out further into that centre. Okay, as it is, black played here, white, black, and then white harness. And so we're looking almost at, as the gain for black is almost just 2 points. So black blocks, white extends, black makes a tiger mouth, threatening the white stone on M17. White harness. What should black do now? Probably cut through at L17. No, defend. These two stones here are connected by a Kasumi, a diagonal connection. There is no defense needed. They're already connected, and so connecting at M15 is a very slack move. Let's look at it again. It adds nothing, so white is going to block at L15 and get stronger. Let's just look at this as an alternative. What if black comes through here? What does white do here? White Atari is here. Black extends. White has got to come down this way to avoid being Atari'd. And then black Atari pushes out here with an Atari. So white takes, and then black pushes out again. And again, white's now got to deal with this black incursion. So this was just the move that was played in the game. Here was just super slack move, just not efficient use of stones and white blocks. So it's black's move again. Black protects the corner, white blocks. Black pushes out, white blocks. Black connects with a tiger mouth, which is fine, and white connects its cutting point. Where does black play now? Out here. This is okay. This move was okay. It's the follow-up move that doesn't work. So white wedges in, and black's only move, I say black's only move here is that one there. It's the only move available to black, because white simply can't cut here because it's a ladder. Like this, as we can see, that ladder just goes down to the edge, and white can't cut here because white just dies. So this move sets up no cutting points, and if white plays here, then black just descends. And if after that one, if white comes here, black extends. There are no moves here, there are no good moves for white, and black just gets stronger. So what happened in the game is white pushed, and black played here, which was just a mistake. It's an inefficient move, it's a slack move. It allows white in. So white harnesses the black stone, so white stone here on R5 has now got 3 liberties and black's got 2, so the black stone's dying. So black harnesses, white connects. The connection, it's not a great play by white because white could simply do this here and take that stone out of commission, but white plays more thickly here. Black tries to save the stones by connecting them and stopping the Atari at the cutting point, but then white just pushes down and now is threatening either this cutting point or this cutting point, or indeed this cutting point, because white is solid. The white group is super solid. So black protects the cutting point to the left to stop white incurting their territory, and white turns and kills the 3 stones. So all the way back to here, we can see this stone was okay because it was enlarging the territory on the lower side and strengthening the left. The push was okay, but this was the mistake, and actually black simply needed to play here. Okay, so, but going back to the game, that's what it was. Let's see it through again. White descends, cutting points all over the place. Black defends the cutting point, white takes the 3 stones, black presses down. Actually what happens here is white lets black off the hook, because black can now play here because of liberties, because white can't play here because this, white here, white. That's the sequence. So even after attacking the 3 stones, white let black off the hook by playing at S7, but black protected on the left hand side. White came out, black blocked, white came out. Black jumped, I like that. It's actually jumping into the centre of the territory and reducing white's potential in that area. And these moves are quite successful for black. Black connects back to his large lower side group. White cuts, which is a forlorn cut, but let's look again at direction of Atari. This is almost the same sequence that we looked at over on this side of the board here. The obvious direction of Atari for me is black, white, black, white, black, white, black, white, black, white, dead. That's what I would expect to see with this direction of Atari. What happened in the game is actually black made this move, which gave white a certain degree of freedom that was clearly unnecessary if we look back on the sequence that we've just played out. This sequence here just leads to the death of the white stones, as we've just seen. This move, it protects the left side, but it doesn't deal with the white stone, and white comes out. I mean, the white stones here are in a hopeless position. They've got 2 liberties, and they're surrounded by these black groups. These 2 black stones have got 4 liberties. That one's got 3. That one's got 3. That one's got 3. This group has got 3, but one of them is covered by a tiger mouth. So black's not going to die here. So black comes up, white cuts. Black Atari's this group, which is fine. Equally, black could have just knocked this stone out of play by pushing it that way, and I would have pushed it that way rather than this one, because coming down the white stone would gain 3 liberties at K4. But black's move wasn't bad. It took the 2 stones out of commission. White comes along. Black protects the lower side. White then connects to a Kosumi. So here's the Kosumi. That stone, and that stone are now all connected, and this stone is connected to the 2 stones through a 2-stone wall 1-space jump. So black has lost quite some territory, not a huge amount, but some territory now, by allowing that white stone, this one, the one at K5, to get out of trouble. And actually the obvious move here would be this one. If white did this, black does this, white still can't get out. There's no move for white. There's nothing for white to do. This just involves a little bit of reading. And on the other side, if after this move white extends, then I think black can just afford to push up, and white comes up and black comes up and white comes up, and then black comes up. Does this work? I don't think so. Which way does white play? This is not going to end well for white. Okay, let's go back to the game. Let's stay with the main menu. So white plays here. Black takes the 2 out, white comes this way, black blocks his lower side, and then white connects out. Black attaches, threatening the cutting point, so white connects. Black blocks, white makes a bamboo joint, and then black jumps out. I think this is a good sequence for black eventually, although black has conceded some points here. The rest of it is good, because these black stones here are absolutely connected back through this shape because of the 2 stones in Atari. So black can make hay in the middle of the board, and we call this trampling, where we just not going to make a lot of points for our own stones, for our own group, but what we are going to do is stomp all over our opponent's territory. It's, as I've said before, it's a bit like, you know, your neighbour has a beautiful pristine lawn and you let a herd of cows out on it just to run around and carve it up. That's what black is trying to do here. So white attaches. Black makes a big shape move, and big moves are good in this area because, again, you're not trying to make territory, you're just trying to expand as fast and as rapidly and securely as you can. White comes this way, black blocks, white blocks, black jumps again, another nice shape move, 1-space jump connected with a knight move, white hane, another big move aiming at the cutting point at N11, white, black, white, black. This might be slightly better here because white will answer there, and then you can get this kind of jump move into here, but it's a small move at this point. The game is clearly black's. White. This one I don't like. I like this loads more. There's nothing white can do. White can't cut. There's nothing white can do in this area, and this 1 stone at O11 takes away more of white's territory. I much prefer that to this move. White blocks, black pushes in, white blocks, black turns, white connects, black pushes, white blocks. That's the incursion over on that side. White's now solid. So black pushes here, white wedges in, black protects or makes an Atari, and white takes. Does black need to connect here at M11 here? Clearly not, because if white pushes in, it's a self Atari. So until white signals his intention by playing it here, black doesn't have to respond, and black would be much better off here, setting up this Atari and starting to take off some more territory off white's bin the game. Ben blocked, but he got away with it because white also connected. So black played this Atari and white connected. And I really like this sequence here. So sequence of tiger mounts. So black here, white here, black here, white block, black cut. Notice that at this point this group of white stones is now cut, and actually very short on eyes. So white Atari, black connect, white Atari, black connect, white push. No need to answer by black. There's nothing that white can do that can harm those stones. If white throws in, black would simply take. Everything is fine because white's got this extra liberty here. So the move for black here would be to play that one, which white will answer, because otherwise this group will be cut and will die. So white will answer here, and then black has this move. If white plays here, black can play here. And now white, if white goes back, white can make the two eyes and is alive. But let's just see what happens in the game. So all the way black here, white plays here, and black connects. This was an unnecessary connection, but black played it. And white threw in, which was an unnecessary move because these two stones are already dead. And black has two liberties currently. 1, 2. And black has to do nothing until white takes this liberty here, the liberty at H7. So it's black to play. And black plays here. It's moved, perfectly good move. Widening the base of the and squeezing down white. White plays here, so black plays here. Yes, it's because black has another liberty here. And then white, in dogged determination to try and kill the black group, maybe didn't see the two white stones in Atari, so the black group is now in Atari. So white takes, so black takes the two stones, and now the centre is all connected. And white plays here. And now here's the sequence that would kill, I believe. It's white's taken that and seen things. So if black played here, white must play here. And then black plays here. And white plays here, and black plays here. And the white group lives with two eyes. But that's it, 2 points. Very inefficient. Where are we in the game? White did this, and black played here. This is an unnecessary play. This is an unnecessary move, a slack move. There's no risk. What happens? If white plays there, black connects. There's nothing to be done there. And what black lost the opportunity for was this move, or indeed this move. So we have to say that the play here, it took 150 here, M6 was a slack move. And then white makes the connection, black makes the connection, white protects the two stones, and black protects the corner. I still prefer, in terms of protecting the corner, this one, but I can't knock the move that Ben played. So Ben protects the corner, there. White blocks again, so white's group has now got 4 liberties inside it. Black blocks, white blocks, black blocks, not very keen on the empty triangle. Why? That was the move that's been sitting there the whole board. At any point black could have connected here, black could have connected under, because black had a spare liberty, had 3 liberties here. So that's a 6-point move, maybe even more. It's probably a 10-point move for white. Black goes belt and braces and makes sure that nothing bad can happen in that top right hand corner. Black presses, white connects, white hane, black block, white connects, black sente, black connects there, white pushes, black blocks. This is another case of black has now played 2 moves in this area, and actually going back, it would have been simpler just to have played the move at S15, and you'd be 1 point better off. White hane, black hane, white connect, and black protect. All normal stuff. The game is over. White should resign at this point. White goes to kill the stones that don't need to be killed because they're already dead. Black gets a sente. Black connects there. I'm not sure whether that connect there. Again, this is black's territory. These points are here are black's, and actually every time you put a stone in your territory, you reduce it by 1. I think this kind of sequence is much better. Can white cut? No, because of this. So there's no cutting point there, so there's nothing to protect against. Black protects a non-existing cutting point. White plays there. Is there any risk to black? Can we see any danger of a cut? Anything that could go wrong? No. So black plays here, white here, black block, white block. No cutting point there. There is no cutting point. Nothing to defend against. So here again we have another super slack, super inefficient move. What happens, this move here, the B4 move, is -1 point for black because you played a stone inside your own territory. Much better would be to do something like simply block here, that kind of sequence, just to prevent any further nonsense by white in that area. Anyway, black plays that, white block, black block, white connect. And now there, that's fine. Black goes for the right area, white, and then I would expect black at L3. Yes, thank you. White, and black protects the corner. Not wrong, that's fine. The other alternative again is tiger mouth in the corner, but in this case black's move is perfectly good. And now white does this invasion. So is this a forlorn invasion? The important thing to understand when we're talking about invasions at the end game is that they are a 0 sum. Note that so long as the invading stones don't survive, each prisoner that you capture, so if we assume black kills all of these stones, each prisoner is compensated by the fact that black has to keep playing stones into its own area. So if we keep score on this one, so white has just given 1 point to black, and black has just taken a point off himself by filling a point of his own territory, so it's a 0. White then takes those stones off the board, which is another -1 to white, and black plays another stone inside its own territory. So both players have just played inside their own territory, so the score is still 0. White plays a stone, so it's +1 to black because there's a dead stone in there, and black plays a stone, so it's 0 again. White cuts, so that's +1 to black because there's another prisoner there, but black fills in another point of his own territory. It's 0 again. White attaches underneath, but notice that's got to be a false eye, and that's got to be a false eye because of the presence of that. So black comes down the other side to stop white developing. White comes down, makes no point because this is still a false eye, and black attaches on the far side. This white group cannot survive. It cannot make 2 eyes locally. It just can't happen. But notice that so long as every time white plays a stone, black plays a stone, it's a 0 sum. It's costing white nothing to do this. And that's why it's worth, if you think there's an opportunity of you living towards the end of the game, it's worth trying it out because it costs you nothing. Only if you start playing stones and your opponent starts passing or ignoring your moves does it start to cost you points. So white comes here, black Ataris, white starts a ko, which is an interesting move, but there's just not enough space for white to live here. So black takes the ko, and white plays a ko threat. And black answers the ko threat there. This is actually the wrong place to answer the ko threat, because white needs to play here. Sorry, black needs to play here, then white can no longer play this. As it stands, after black plays this one, white could ignore the stones on the lower left side, the 1, 2, A, B, C, F group, and simply push in here. And then there's nothing white can do. Black plays here, white, and now we have a ko in the corner as well. So we've got 2 kos, but white's taken some locally taken some points off black. So this wasn't a good answer to the ko threat. White takes back the ko. Black realises the problem and plays on the lower side to stop white pushing in. And white takes the ko. White still, because that's a false eye and that's a false eye, white still doesn't have anywhere near 2 eyes it needs to live locally. So black Atari is on this side, white connects, and white is dead. There's no hope for white on that side. But notice again, so long as for each stone, so white has just played a stone, which means it's +1 score to black, but then black plays a stone, so it becomes 0 again, because black has filled in a point of his own territory. And white plays another stone, +1 to black, and black plays a stone. It's a 0 again. White connects and jumps up and Ataris the black stone, and black takes the stone, 0. +1 to black, 0 again, because black's played another stone inside its territory. White turns, +1 to black, 0 again, because of black playing a stone and connecting. White comes up, +1 to black, 0 again. Black is forced to play a stone. +1 to black, because there's another white stone and another prisoner, and black plays another stone, 0 again. +1 to black, 0 again. Black takes the group off there. +1 to black, 0 again, because black has to play a stone. White plays here, black plays here, back to 0. +1 to black, 0. And I hope at that point black passes. Yeah, those are the passes move. So it's important to understand, the final thing, apart from the slack plays and the inefficient plays we saw earlier in the game, that final summary is actually when you invade an opponent's territory, when you invade deep into your opponent's territory or behind a wall, so long as your opponent matches you stone for stone, if you're white invading in this case and black defending, it's a 0 sum. It costs white nothing to make that invasion, because black played a stone for every stone white played. So as a 25Q player, as a 20Q player, even as a 5, 6, 7Q player, if you think there's an opportunity, take it, chance it. Nothing is lost. It's fine, and it's a way of exploring life and death inside your opponent's territory. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for the game, Ben. That was an interesting one. It was a good win by you with a 4-stone handicap. Your game's coming along nicely. Be aware of the other 2 things in this video. One is slack plays, where you play a stone that you then have to fix, just inefficient plays, slack or inefficient plays, and the direction of Atari. The direction of Atari came in around here, and we looked at what happened in that stone, and the direction of Atari came around here, when we looked at these stones, and there was that very inefficient play here. I think those 3 things that we remember. Okay, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. If you like the way I teach at 10 minutes to go, please subscribe. Be good to see you soon. Next video will come, either a live game review, one of my student reviews, or if I find an interesting aspect of Go to talk about, I'll do a video on that. Anyway, thanks for that. See you soon. Bye for now.